Hey everyone, so this week's video was unintentionally a whole week's worth of dinners, or 3 dinners, and they were all air fryer recipes. So the first recipe was supposed to be an air fryer recipe, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls, and then my oven broke. It caught fire just a tiny bit, and the baking element in the bottom just melted and then broke apart. So we ordered a new piece. And so I'm gonna fix it on Friday. We just pull it out and put the new one in. It's, very easy. But luckily I got this Ninja Foodie air fryer thing from my mom. It's not just an air fryer, it does a million things. You'll know if you have one. So luckily I had that to use for the rest of the week. And these recipes just became air fryer recipes. You can really just air fry anything, but anyways, hopefully I'm going to insert the clip of us panicking a little bit about the fact that the oven was on fire. If I can, there's no video because I was videoing me putting pesto on top of the salmon, and then I realized that there were sparks coming out of the oven, and then you hear me being like, babe, the oven's on fire. Ooh. But anyway, so disclaimer, anyways, I hope that y'all like all the recipes, and have a good day. Alright, so the first recipe I made was Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. Very simple. This was supposed to be an air fryer recipe. We have some egg roll wrappers, some shredded mozzarella cheese. You can use any cheese that you would like to use. That's what I had on hand. And then some steakums. For this, you could use regular steak and slice it up yourself if you want to. You could also add vegetables, but my son doesn't like all that, so I just made them very basic. So let's get started. First things first is I cooked up the steakums. I kind of did it the hard way. As you can see, I only did 2 slices at a time, and there's a bunch of slices in there. Really, I probably could have layered them all together and cooked them at one time, but I did them 2 at a time, which took a while. I didn't put any seasoning on them because here in a minute you're going to see where I season them, or season all the meat. So that's how I cooked them all. I just put 2 slices in, stirred them around until they were done, and then took them out. So now that it's all cooked, I'm adding a little bit of garlic powder and then a little bit of onion powder. I'm going to give that a good stirring. And then after that, I'm going to add some Worcestershire and then some more garlic powder and onion powder. You can use whatever seasonings that you like for your Philly cheesesteak meat. This is what I like on mine. I like it pretty basic, nothing too crazy with it. You don't want to get too insane with Philly cheesesteak seasoning. At least I think so. So I just mixed it all together and then set it off to the side once I felt like it was seasoned good enough, which I was taste testing it. Alright, so then I'm going to take the egg roll wrapper and you put the cheese on. Whatever kind of cheese you want, you just put that on there, and then a scoop of the meat. You can put however much on there you want. I wasn't trying to make these too big. I wanted them just average size. And then I took my little brush, and I have a bowl of water off to the side, and I put a little bit of water on each corner of the egg roll wrapper, just like that. So then you take the bottom corner, just like I'm doing here. You're going to fold it over and press it down, and then you'll fold over each corner. Make sure to make it nice and tight. You don't want a bunch of loose ends. You want that meat to be tucked in. And then you're going to fold it over just like that. Try and keep it folded in tightly, and then make sure that that bottom corner presses and seals. So this is all that I made. This is how much it made for me. Next time I might do more, because it was only like 3 egg rolls a piece, and I think my son could have ate a million. So here I am putting them in the air fryer. I didn't spray any oil in there. They actually do recommend not doing that for a lot of air fryers, so I just put them in there. And I cooked them for about 7 minutes on 400, 6 to 7 minutes, and then once that timer went off, I flipped them over and cooked them for 6 to 7 minutes more. I recommend cooking them on maybe a little bit lower temperature for a little bit less long. They got a little crunchy. So here they are. See, they're pretty brown, but they were really good, and I served them with the vegetables that you would eat on a Philly cheesesteak, bell peppers, onions, and mushrooms, at least that I like, and some french fries. It was really good.
So this is the recipe that I made when my oven caught fire. It was supposed to be a baked basil pesto salmon with grape tomatoes. I ended up not using the grape tomatoes because I did air fry this. This was a fun evening. So I got the salmon and I of course put it in the baking dish that I was going to use and opened up the pesto, started getting that on the salmon, which even if I had baked it, I would recommend next time like baking it a little bit and then adding the pesto. It probably shouldn't be on there the entire time, air frying it or baking it, in my honest opinion.
The oven's on fire.
And the oven's on fire, so that's when we put it in the air fryer. So I just put both pieces in the air fryer. Luckily they both fit. And closed it up. So this is a lot of trial and error since I wasn't planning on air frying this. So I put it on air fry and then I kept it at 390 and I put it for 10 minutes. I did have to keep checking the fish with a meat thermometer because it's supposed to be at 145 until it was cooked. But you can just open it up, at least my air fryer, you can open it up as it's cooking. I would touch it, you can feel if it's done, but it's also really good to use a meat thermometer because you want your fish cooked, the temperature that it should be. So there it is, it's all done. And then after that was done, I took that out and I threw asparagus in the air fryer, so yummy, and cooked that for about like 5 minutes. Very good. So I served this with some Parmesan noodles. There's the salmon. Like I said, you see how the pesto is just a little dark. I would recommend maybe doing it after or doing it like halfway through. So there's the asparagus that I air fried. Lots of pasta noodles. Those are so good. Pasta noodles. Parmesan noodles. Those are so good. They're from Aldi. And then there is the salmon. But it was all very, very yummy. I did miss my tomatoes though. So last, I'm making everything but the bagel chicken. So it's basically air fried chicken tenders with everything but the bagel seasoning. I was actually going to bake this, but it could be an air fryer recipe too. A lot of people air fry chicken tenders. So we had chicken, egg, everything but the bagel seasoning, and panko breadcrumbs. And so here is the egg. I mixed it with a little bit of water. I didn't measure it out. I just cracked it in there, put some water. And then there is the panko breadcrumbs and everything but the bagel seasoning, and I'm mixing it together. So I cut up those 2 chicken breasts into slices. You can buy tenderloins, or it's just cheaper to me to buy the chicken breast and to slice them up. But you can just be convenient and use the chicken tenders. So I just put them in that water and egg, the little wash, and then I dumped them over into the panko breadcrumbs and everything but the bagel seasoning, and then I just stir them around, get them good and coated. I always love watching things when they're sped up. For some reason, I wish that life was like that. Just speed it up. So I did all of them like that. Yeah, right there. So I had to add in some more panko breadcrumbs and some more bagel seasoning. I did not measure that part out. I just dumped in what I thought and added it to keep on trucking. So there we go. Last of them. So here's what they look like, all seasoned up. It made quite a bit. They already look yummy, to me at least. So we put these in the air fryer. Yes, I'm using my hands because I didn't want to use tongs and it make all the seasoning brush off of that. So I just use my hands and wash them afterwards because salmonella is real, people. It is real. Alright, so that's what it looks like in there. Closed it, so I turned it on, put it on air fry, put it on 400, and I cooked it for, not 1 minute, obviously. Cooked it for 7 minutes. This was an appropriate temperature. I cooked it for 7 minutes, and then turned it over. I was checking it as I went. I didn't want them to get brown, burnt. But of course you also, since it's raw chicken, you wanted to cook the chicken all the way through too. And your air fryer may be different. than mine. This is just what mine needed to cook it. So there it is, so golden brown. It turned out so good. I really enjoyed making these homemade, just the chicken tenders themselves. It would have been fine even just with the panko, but everything but the bagel seasoning was really, really good on them. So, had me 3 little chicken tenders, and on the side, I had just some steamed green beans. I just steamed them in the bag and dumped them in a colander, so they would drain and they wouldn't be all watery. And then I also made a yellow saffron rice. Well, since my oven was off, I actually made that in the rice cooker. If you're friends with me on Instagram, you might have seen where I posted some stories where my rice cooker was just not wanting to work, and it was getting very, very sad because my oven was not working, and then my rice cooker acted like it wasn't going to work, but I think it just had too much rice. So this was super yummy. In the recipe that I'm going to link below, it actually has a thing for the dressing, but I just dipped this in like barbecue sauce. It was so good. You should try it. Anyways, that's this week's What's for Dinner. I hope that you liked it. If you did, please make sure to give this video a like, and don't forget to subscribe. Have a great day.